All right, yeah, as you know, I'm Shannon Phillips. I'm one of the co-founders of Unbounded Thinking, and I'm just going to run you through exactly why we exist and how we do business. So I think now more than ever, a little bit of a different turn for you guys is what we're going to talk about, is that we need to adapt to that rate of change going on around us and prepare ourselves for what's coming. As you can see on the screen, we're about to hit that fifth industrial revolution. And, although when we look at innovation, we think of it as technology with that exponential growth, it's got us to where we are, but we shouldn't be defining innovation by technology. We need to start looking at it as a way of survival, especially in business. We're innovative by nature. We know this, from creating fire to now using that energy to leave the planet. We're just an adaptive species. We're innovative by nature, but we really want to look at what happens when we don't nurture that. There's so many examples out there. I'm sure a couple of these hit home for a few of you, but what happens when you don't nurture innovation, from whether it's Blockbuster or BlackBerry. But the learnings that come with these examples is that even the most successful companies out there really need to build innovation into how they do business just to survive. But what's the actual big problem when we dig down into it? What really needs to be fixed? There's a really good study out there saying that 95% of companies or organizations say that they need to innovate. They define innovation as part of their strategy. But when you go back and talk to them, they come out and say that only 5% of them are actually happy with their innovation performance. And digging deeper into that, as you can see on the screen, it's clear that innovation is just not being managed properly. We don't have the skills for it, and there's just no culture to support it. It's just a mess. So the big problem is that organizations really don't know how to innovate. And with that, quite simply, as we've seen with all the examples, they crash and burn. This is also supported by one of the most influential thinkers out there when it comes to management, who said that companies need to innovate to be able to survive. That was Peter Drucker. We need to approach innovation as more of a survival tactic and not as an add-on like we currently are. So at Unbounded, we do this through innovation management. It's a systems approach to innovation. So we first understand where an organization is at on their path to innovation, understand the employees, the business, and most importantly, how they approach innovation. And then with this, we're able to develop kind of a custom innovation strategy and then help guide the organization through that and work with them. But we're not just that cookie cutter off the shelf solution that doesn't work. We work with organizations as more of an extension to their business, not as your typical consultants. And with that, we provide that hands-on custom kind of approach, but still taking, very much the human-centered approach and also considering that holistic thinking in our problem solving. So what are we actually up to? We've talked a bunch about why, but what are we actually doing as a company? We came from construction, so we set our foundations there. Over the past 12 months, we've been working with a major Canadian construction client to improve how they approach innovation. We've helped them build structure around innovation. We've helped them listen to their employees differently and also help them build innovation teams. But I think most importantly, we've helped them really think differently around innovation. With that relationship, we're also supporting their own connection with the University of Alberta and the Construction Innovation Centre to research some of the projects that we're working on with that client as well. Outside of construction, we also host events, whether that be social or internal, what we call thinkathons. They're our approach to a hackathon. We also have different skills programs that we have, teach both internally and socially as well. And we're just about to kick off some meetups to discuss innovation forecasting. So this is our fun way to get people to think about what's next when it comes to innovation. So as you can see, we spend a lot in Canada and in Alberta and even Edmonton on innovation consulting. But what is that money actually being spent on? As you can see there, we're only spending around 10% of our innovation efforts towards innovation management. So this means we're spending a lot of money, but we're just not investing in actually how we innovate. That's what we need to change. That's what we're all about. There obviously is a lot of consulting out there to support innovation. Our background, it definitely positions us to take more of a scientific approach to improve how organizations innovate, just without the complexity. And we're definitely unique because we understand, complex systems and organizations. That's our background. But more, we really understand the people side of it who need to work within those systems. So I would say our secret sauce is really how we approach innovation management and how we build the skills for employees and the capacity for them to be able to innovate within that system. So how we're actually scaling, we're looking to bring on 3 to 4 large clients as more of a long-term relationship to help build custom innovation systems within their own systems, bringing on new staff to support that, acquiring new clients as a year goes on. And then along the way, we're also looking for additional revenue streams, but still staying true to what we do. We're not just looking to sell our souls so we can automate everything and kind of go backwards on what we're trying to do. Who's the Unbounded team? So my education is in biomedical science, organizational change, and organizational behavior. I look after our operations. You have Ali Wilson, who is an environmental engineer. Her experience is really around understanding complex systems and also has a similar experience in organizational change. Ali looks after our strategy and finance. And then Tristan, wraps up the team. Lots of years around working with people and with adults in social services. He's also part of the Alberta startup community. And with that, Tristan looks after our business development. So we come with that great understanding of how complex organizations work and even a better understanding of how people think. We're also positioned well to be part of Alberta's current focus on innovation. So our ask is as I wrap this up, is really threefold. We're looking to test out our skills programs with both leadership and teams, and then to get in there with those new clients to really take this new approach of innovation management to the next level. And then just to be a part of that innovation discussion across Alberta. We want to be part of, join existing communities, and we also want to bring in people to join our own innovation community. So with that, when the fifth ever industrial revolution starts to hit, how long will you last if you're not taking innovation seriously? And that's me. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation, Shannon. I think Peter has a question in chat. Peter, do you want to unmute and ask that?
Shannon, how does your, now I'm into intellectual capital and knowledge management, and one of the things that I loved your discussion, because I think we're both after the same thing. So, one of the things that we find that we need to help companies understand is they have to capture, store, and make their knowledge reusable, moving it from a tacit state to an explicit state. Do you have that built into your program somehow?
Yeah, great question. I think to keep this quick for everybody, we're aligning ourselves with a new international standard called ISO 56002, I think it is, innovation management. And that's all about just building another system within a system. And a big part of that is knowledge management for sure. But that stretches from idea management, capturing ideas, right through to turning that into, like you said, how you're managing your knowledge. But I think our approach is 100% focused on relying on how that organization functions. So like I said, we don't want to bring that cookie cutter, here's what you shall do. It's really understanding how that organization currently looks at knowledge management and then working around that. But yeah, the short answer is yes, knowledge management is a big part of innovation.
Thank you.
Thanks for the question.